But in my career, I would say I definitely found success, and I'm extremely happy with where my career path has taken me, and like looking forward to where I'm going to go next. Like I'm dean of students now. Maybe I'll be a principal one day. You never know. Like I'm really excited for it. You know what I'm saying? Be a superintendent of somebody's school district.
Oh, yes. Who's hiring?
Yes. Trying to InQuire hire out here. That's what I'm doing.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Student Success Podcast brought to you by InQuire Hire. Joining us today is Jasmine Brown-Bolling. How are you doing today, Jasmine?
I am doing well. How are you, Ashley?
So well. It's so good to have you here.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Way back to college, and she's going to bring you on her journey. So first and foremost, the question we like to ask everyone, this is your moment to boast. Who are you? How would you describe yourself?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so I think at my core, I think I'm the same. I'm the same as I've always been, right? Like South Side, child of my parents. As I'm getting older, I am realizing that I am more and more like both of them, for sure. So definitely that. But then like professionally, I'm an educator. Like that's my passion. I feel like I can teach pretty much anything to anybody. And that's what I really want to do. So I would go with that. I am a Southside Chicago girl who happens to be a good teacher.
An amazing teacher and a great friend. She's just an all-around great spirit. For everyone who knows her, they would definitely agree. All right. So paint a little picture of your background. Let's take it back. What did your childhood dynamic look like, and what support did you have through school?
Okay, so my childhood, both my parents were together until I was about 13 or 14 years old when they split up. But beyond that, I'm part of a really huge extended family. I've got lots of cousins, lots of aunts, lots of uncles. And I grew up in a place where, my mom's family, they lived 10 minutes away in one direction. My dad's family lived 10 minutes away in the other direction. So my family was very much supportive of everything that I wanted to do. So if it was a school talent show, like the whole crew was coming. There were 40 people in the audience cheering, screaming my name, excited. You come home with a little honor roll certificate, they slapping it up on the fridge. We got to go out to dinner and celebrate. Always very, very supportive of anything that I wanted to do. And then I have two younger siblings as well, who I think would say the same thing. Like our family's just like nurtured in us this, like an independent spirit when it came to school, right? Like these are the books that you have to read for class, but then like what books are you reading for yourself, for your personal pleasure? Going to the library every week. My mom would take us, to like local colleges to hear when people would come and speak. Nikki Giovanni comes to speak, so we had to go and see it. My family was very, very big on choosing what you were interested in and just kind of following it. And then everybody would support you. So, if I had a cousin on the football team, we were all at the game on Saturday. When my brother was playing t-ball, we were all there, and I was the kid. I wasn't playing those sports. I was in the science fair. I was doing like those kinds of things. And they still are there cheering, excited, taking pictures, telling everybody. So I think growing up with that type of network of support really helped me to be really confident moving into, college and into my professional career. Because I just knew that like people had my back. And like, even if I went out and tried something and it wasn't great, like they were still going to support me and they were going to boost me up and they were going to do whatever they could to help me get what I wanted. So I would say it that way. My family situation was really, really ideal. There were obviously those things, right? Like my parents are divorced and, all those types of things that, everybody has their stuff. But the support and the love was always there, for sure.
That makes sense now. You make sense with your confidence. She is the most confident person you will meet. She is kind. She is honest. She tries to be. She's very honest. And she's just a loving person. And that all stems from that support that she had. Oh, I did not know that you had that huge extended family that supported you that way. That sounds like a TV show. That's awesome.
You ever seen that show? Have you ever seen that show, Parenthood?
Yes.
That's like my family. We're like, we all going, we all doing everything, huge dinners on the weekend. Like, it's like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, we Black and all of that stuff. But
I thought that was only on TV. I didn't know that existed in real life.
That's like my family.
Insane.
Or like the family from Soul Food, if they were a little bit more functional, like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Like that.
A lot more functional, I'm sure. Awesome. I'm happy you had that support. All right. So in saying that, did you face any adversity during your school experience? And if you did, what advice would you give to someone else probably experiencing the same thing to overcome those obstacles?
To answer this question, I got to take you way back. So if that's okay. So I grew up going to like a really, really small private school where like it was all Black, everything. All my teachers were Black, like the janitor was Black, everybody was Black. All my classmates were Black. There were 2 mixed kids at my school, and we knew they were mixed kids because that was a big deal because everybody was Black.
Because everybody was Black.
Like, that was a big deal. I tell this story. There was one time at the school, the air conditioning went out. Like, I don't know, it's broke. It was something. And they called some repair people in. And the repairman who came was a white dude. And it was such a big deal at my school. Like, when I tell you, kids was whispering, like, yeah, what's somebody white here? It's white people here. Like,
goodness.
It was a thing, right? And so I say all that to say, like, my elementary school experience, I went to the same school from K4 to 8th grade. So that experience was really like pro-Black. Like, there was never any, you know, discrimination, never any sense that like anybody thought less of me. Like, there was never any of that. So then when I left there and I went to high school, I went to a huge high school, like 2,000 kids, all different races, teachers from all over the city. That was the first time that hit me, that like, oh, other people think you a Black girl from the South Side, you ain't that smart. You're not supposed to be in these AP classes, in these honors classes, doing these things. That had never occurred to me before. Like, you in school, you learn, you know that racism exists, but that was the first time that it was like right in my face. And never like blatant, but just people who didn't believe in me and didn't think that I could do it. Then, of course, I left there and went to Marquette where we met. And, you know, it was 12 Black people there. Like,
stop.
Like,
she said,
you know what I mean? Like, it was, and a bunch of us have been on this podcast. Anthony, like, that was it. That was it. It was us.
Listen, Anthony, that's it. Those are the only
right. It was like the 2 of us, like 3 other girls, and 4 dudes. Yeah. Like, that was it.
Yeah, it was a very low percentage for sure.
Going to that, knowing that I wanted to be a teacher and what I wanted to do, major in education, there were 2 Black girls in the College of Ed. You know, like a lot of the 12 Black people that were there, a lot of us were, you know, in engineering or arts and sciences. In ed, there was 2 Black girls, me and a girl named Crystal, and 1 Black boy. It was just the 3 of us. Everybody else, you know, obviously wasn't Black. And that was another time where it was like, you're taking these classes about equity and how to be a teacher, you have to be, you know, fair to your students and all these types of things, and just really coming face to face with the fact that my classmates did not have these experiences, did not know, did not believe in these students, were not, you know, on the same page as us. And so, like I said, never like anything that was blatantly racist, but always kind of those microaggressions, those undertones that somebody doesn't believe in you, that somebody doesn't think that you deserve to be there. Especially like being from where we're from, you know, inner city girls, people don't think that for
city
us.
Kids,
right. They don't think that for us.
Anything. Oh, you guys come here? I
right. They're so question. Shocked and surprised. Like, oh, you got accepted to college? Like, what you mean? Yes.
Yes.
But so to answer that in terms of, you know, facing all of that, I think it's really important that people are secure and comfortable with themselves before they get to those points. And so I think that for me, the best thing that could have happened was having those experiences when I was young, where like my Blackness was valued, my intelligence was validated, my family was supportive, confidence was instilled in me, so that when I got in those places where people didn't believe or people didn't think that I deserved to be there, it was a lot easier for me to say like, no, I know who I am and I'm sure of what I'm capable of and what I want for myself. And I really think that things probably would have turned out a lot differently had I not had that. It would have been a lot easier to be discouraged and down on myself and not really think that I deserved or I belonged in those spaces. Because you're in a room where I'm the only Black girl, maybe one other,
many of classes,
all throughout college and high school. And so that's what it is. Like going into those spaces confident and believing in yourself already and not waiting for those people to validate you, because most of the time they won't. You might meet a few friendly faces, but most of the time in my experience, people are watching you to see if you really deserve it, to see if you mess up, to see if you're smart enough. And so you just got to know, you just got to be, what Cat Williams say, in tune with your star player. You got to be like that. You got to know. You got to know.
Take it back. Hold up.
Take it back. Throw back.
Now you're aging yourself a little bit.
A little bit. Don't tell nobody how old I am. I only know that because I saw it on Netflix last week, y'all.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember it from back in the day, though.
No. We weren't at the show.
No, we weren't. We might have been.
We didn't see it live. We did not witness it. No. That's awesome. So you had that experience. That's interesting. I feel like a lot of us, or at least that I've had conversations with, have had different experiences. You don't have that support. Your family's just incredible. We just need to make a movie based on your family. But just that support that you had to know, like, and to understand your Blackness and to be able to like walk in your truth and yourself and knowing who you are before you even got to those spaces where you had to figure out how to handle those.
And if I'm being honest with you, that's a lot of why I wanted to be a teacher. Because when I got to high school, I realized that other kids didn't have that. Other kids, they didn't have those experiences growing up where they were in a school and an environment that like believed in them. And I was like, that sucks. Like when I got to high school and, you meet other people, start making friends and realize that they didn't have those same experiences. That school for them has always kind of been that place where they're struggling to fit in, they're struggling to prove their worth. That's when I decided that I wanted to be a teacher, because I was like, at least in this one classroom, my kids are going to feel that. So that's where it started really for me.
Wow, that's powerful. Look at you. All right. Yeah, you said I try. Well, you do very well. And I wanted to get into your career journey. So we got through, you kind of talked about this already. You got into education. So you always knew that you wanted to be a teacher was that your first major choice?
I knew I wanted to be a teacher probably by junior year in high school.
Okay.
By junior year, I was sure that's what I wanted to do. And so when it came time to apply to colleges, really looking for schools that had strong ed programs, really looking for schools that were going to allow me to get hands-on experience, like in classrooms teaching. And part of why I chose Marquette was because of its location. Like it's right in the heart of a city that's really Black, right? Like, so I knew I was gonna, or I hoped at least, that I was going to get to have hands-on experience in like city schools, public schools, working with kids. That was part of what took me to Marquette. Then, it's only an hour and a half, 2 hours away from home as well. So that didn't hurt. It was far enough away that, my mom and my grandma were swinging by. Exactly. But like, I could still go home on the weekends. I didn't miss a birthday party or things like that. I could still, go home when I needed to. But that's what really took me there to Marquette. And to their credit, I did have all of those experiences. I had to choose them. They always gave you the option, like, oh, if you have a car, we can place you in a suburban school, or we can put you, like, I don't really want that. You could just put me at a school on the north side. Like, that's fine. I know that that's where I want to be. But yeah, to their credit, I did feel really, really prepared to teach from my education program there. And I did get all those experiences. Like I got to work at the Boys and Girls Club that wasn't too far from school. I got to volunteer at lots of different schools around the city. We did those volunteer things through like the Black Student Council at like after school programs and tutoring. But then as part of my ed program, getting to student teach, getting to do field experiences in lots of different schools around the city. So that was really helpful. And that was really important to me to get that. And then from there, after I graduated from Marquette, I actually started working at one of the schools that I did field work at, the principal there called me and said, hey, we have an opening. Did you graduate yet? Can you come? And, that was dope because that's not what I was expecting.
Not at all. You lucked out.
I was expecting to go back home. Like, I was like, okay, I'm going to graduate. I'm going to move back home and, get a job at Chicago Public School. And, I got that offer at a school here in Milwaukee that I had, like I said, done field work at. So that was really dope because it was like 2 or 3 weeks after graduation that she called me. So it was like, oh, yeah, like, okay, I'm going to do that. And then I taught there for 8 or 9 years. I taught 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, all the subjects. And then I decided that I was ready to, go back to grad school and become an administrator. And so now that's what I'm doing. I'm the dean of students at a different school here in the city. And I am about 2 months away from getting my master's in administrative leadership. And I'll have a license to be a principal and a superintendent's license. So we'll see what comes from that. But that's what's next for me. That's where I am in my journey.
I love that. I love that you had a plan and that basically you graduated and they knew how great of a teacher you were. They thought to reach out to you directly. So you were ready. So you stayed ready for the opportunity. And when it came up, they called you.
I think too, like being in not burning bridges with people. Because, you can go to a school, your college assigns you got to volunteer here for 6 weeks or for the semester or for whatever it is. Come in, do what you need to do to get your credits and leave. Or, choose to build relationships with people. And I think that those relationships are definitely what have helped me and propelled me in my career, and ways that were huge. Like you just graduated and somebody's calling you and being like, hey, did you graduate yet? Because
did you graduate yet?
Right. Like, and I'm like, yeah, actually I just did, like wow. That's how, building those relationships with people and staying connected, staying in the loop. That's also how I made the move from classroom teacher to administrator. Like, someone saying to me like, hey, we see that you're a really good teacher and we're wondering if you're interested in pursuing this. And like, at first I was like, no, I love teaching. I don't want to be downstairs in the office. I want to be in here with the kids. And it took me a while, to get to the point where I felt ready to be a leader and, of an entire school and not just in my own classroom. But again, people who support you and encourage you, help propel you. It's like, for us, that's important. That's important for me, at least.
No, for sure. So she didn't burn any bridges. I've heard this one before on a previous podcast. Didn't burn any bridges, and she kept her networks open. That is really smart. I feel like in light of, I shouldn't say in light of cancel culture, but okay, that's very different. But you know what I mean? Like some people would just be like, you know what, I'm not speaking to that person anymore or whatever. Sometimes it's just best to maybe distance yourself, but not to burn bridges.
Right. Or, sometimes you feel like that relationship has served you. You've done what you needed to do in that situation. Sure. And I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm the best at keeping in touch with people because that's not what, that's not true. I'm not great at that. You know that. But I also know that like if somebody who I know needs something or says something, like I'm going to be there. And I would hope, that the same exists and that, I'll try to nurture those types of relationships so that if you say, hey, I need this, can you help? I want to be in a position where I can say yes. And then if I say, hey, I'm looking for, do you know of, that somebody can say, yeah, actually I do. And I can connect you with that. Because it's really hard. People who grow up with generational wealth and all those types of things, they already have those connections. They daddy knows somebody who gonna put them on and it's easy. And like, I didn't have that. I had a family that loved me and supported me, but we ain't had no money. All we had was love and support. Like, look, bro, good luck. We clapping, we cheering for you, but we don't have, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so for me, that's been really important because my family doesn't really have those type of connections to just hook you up with whatever. So just taking advantage of when you are in those spaces, finding those friendly faces, finding those people who do like recognize like, hey, I'm really working towards something here and I want this, and that'll have your back and you can get some support that way too. Like that's important.
Yeah, no, 1000%. I agree with you for sure. All right, Jasmine. So tell me, what's one misconception that most people have about teachers? I have a couple.
I think the biggest misconception about teachers is that if you're good at something, you can do it. right? Like people being like, oh, I got an A in chemistry in high school. I can be a chemistry teacher. Like, that's not this. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what this work is. Your content knowledge is important because you are going to pass that along to the children that are in your class. But you also need really good personal skills. You need really good communication skills. And you've got to have an eye for like social justice and equity, and all those things have to be a big part, in my view, to do this work well. So like the idea that because I know a topic, I can just walk into a classroom and I can teach it and kids are just going to listen to me and do what I tell them to do because I'm an expert. That's not how kids work. Kids do not care that you know it. They care that they connect with you. And that's important. And being able to connect with families and have people believe that you have their child's best interest at heart. Like, that's really important to doing this work well. I've seen teachers who are brilliant when it comes to, just intellectuals in their field who struggle a lot in the classroom because those connections aren't there, because the kids don't respect what you came here to do. Because you haven't done anything to earn their respect, right? Kids aren't just naturally rude. You got to do something just like any other human to get them to like you and be on your side and trust you. All of that is important. So I think one of the biggest misconceptions is just that, like, oh, I can just walk in the classroom and do this. Right. You can't.
So just to clear the air, my aunt has been a teacher for over 25 years.
Yeah.
Don't get upset at me, Auntie, if I got the number wrong. But her biggest thing is when students say or parents assume that teachers don't work over the summer, or at 3:00, 3:30 they're done, right?
They're off.
Y'all just off. Y'all don't do anything else.
Yes, I would say that's one too. Or that like we're not really working during the day. Like, that's another one that I hear a lot. They're like, oh, you just get to hang out with kids all day. That must be fun. Like, girl.
No. Answering parent emails.
I like my students, but no, we're not just hanging out. Like, we're not just hanging out. Like, this is work. It takes a lot of planning and preparing. There's a lot of work on the back end. When I was a classroom teacher, I had 150, 160 students come in my classroom every day. First period, second period, third period, 30 kids every hour. So that means if I assign something, hopefully all of them turn it in. So now I got 150 assignments that I need to grade. I got parents I need to call because their kid is failing. Like, I'm not just off. That's not a thing that happens at schools at all. Like, if you see a teacher leave school as soon as the bell rings, you can almost guarantee that whenever they get home, they're going to be working once they get there. Like, it's not. No, you don't have weekends off. You don't have holidays off. Like, you're working the whole time.
Working, always
Summers,
working.
You're working.
Oof. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for clearing that up.
Yes. And don't let you like be a part of the community. Now I'm coaching a team. Of course. You get roped into a lot of things. Exactly.
Help our districts. Tutor after school and before school.
All of that.
Yep. No time off for teachers. Right. So tell me, what's a typical day like for you as a dean of students? Just walk me through. I'm so happy for you that you've achieved this level of success. Please tell me.
Thank you. So a typical day, a dean of students is a little bit different, at least in my district. So I'm not a principal. It's very close to like being like an assistant principal or a vice principal. But I am in charge of students and student culture. So that means if there is a discipline issue, you come into my office. That means attendance. I'm in charge of attendance. I'm tracking down truant kids. But I'm also in charge of like the fun stuff, right? Like the school dances and the assemblies and like those types of things too. So there's a lot of joy in the job as well. And I get to do a lot of the really fun things with the students. And then the other part of my job outside of the students is coaching. Like I coach my teachers in my building. So I'm observing them all the time, giving them feedback on what's going well. What do we need to work on? How can we improve this lesson? How can we connect better with this student that's struggling? Doing a lot of observation and coaching meetings with them. doing trainings for my teachers, planning that and facilitating that. So there's a lot of different pieces to the job. And so a typical day for me starts in the morning. You know, back in the day, you had like the vice principal who was in the hallway with the walkie-talkie and the keys. Like, I'm that person now. Nice. Like, with the walkie-talkie, talking to the security guard, making sure, you know, that the gates are open, that the snow is plowed, that the building is ready for the kids to come in the morning. And then I'm at the door greeting them. And then I'm to my office to answer some emails, return some phone calls. And then the rest of my day in a pre-COVID world, I'm in classrooms. Like I said, either I'm working with a kid that's struggling, like, okay, well, we're going to sit down and I'm going to tutor you personally one-on-one because we need you to pass this class. Or like you said, I'm observing teachers. I'm dealing with breaking up a fight, you know, whatever it is that's happening in the building. So my days are long and there's a lot of different things that happen during the day. I would say it's unpredictable. That's one of the things I like about it, though, that it's not like, oh, I'm going to just have a calendar at 9 o'clock, I'm going to do this, at 10 o'clock, I'm going to do that, at 11 o'clock. It's not like that. It's however the kids walk into the building that day is going to dictate how my day goes. So if the kids in a bad mood, they mad, then it's probably going to be a rough day for me. Everybody is excited. It's going to be a great day for me. So it's unpredictable, but it's fun. It's interesting every day.
And I'm sure you're really good at handling that just with your personality and how well you get along with everyone. I'm sure that's something that's comes easier to you than others. That's an important skill to have, for sure.
I think for sure that. And then I think, too, there's pieces of this that I had to practice and I had to get better at over time. You know, there were times like early in my career where, you know, a kid would do something that they're not supposed to do and I would get frustrated and maybe like I would yell at them or I would do, you know, whatever. But, you know, you learn and you grow, and over time you learn different strategies and ways to handle things. And now I'm at the point where like I hardly ever raise my voice at school, and the kids are like, they know, they're like, oh, she mad. What y'all do?
They know.
They know. They know what it is. You got to come to my office and we closing the door like it's a problem. And
oh, gosh.
Talk about it.
I would not want to be in trouble at your school. Wait, hold on.
Because like she usually happy, but she don't look happy right now. Somebody is going down.
She's usually happy.
Right.
That's hilarious. All right. So what advice would you give to your childhood self? It sounds like you had an amazing childhood. Great support.
It was cool. I liked it.
I'm not saying I'm jealous. I'm just saying it was amazing. And so if you had to give yourself any advice or other Black students, what's that one piece of advice you would give?
Advice that I would give my childhood self, it would be not to second guess, right? When you identify that you're passionate about something, go with that. Don't second guess. Because there were definitely times where, you know, people would be like, from my family or from my community, people who believed in me would say like, oh, teacher, like, you're not gonna make a lot of money in that. Like, you're super smart. You can do something else. But like really knowing that like, if this is something that you're passionate about, like follow that and let your instincts drive you in the right direction. That would be my advice to other people. And that would be my advice to my younger self too. Because, you know, in college, I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but I also held that double major just in case. You know what I mean? Where like, why am I paying for these extra classes? I know what I want to do. And if you know, go with it. If you don't know, try as many things until you find it, until you find that thing that you're really passionate about. And you know, you can allow that to lead you. And you'll be happy. You'll be happy. Like, my job is hard, but I also love it every day. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I want to do. And so I'm good with that.
So do you feel that you found success then? This is a new question that we started asking everyone. Not everyone wants to necessarily be a millionaire, you know, have a yacht and, you know, whatever. So do you feel that you found success in your current role?
I would say I've definitely found success career-wise. If I look at the whole of my life, there's definitely things that I want to continue to work on and I want to continue to build. You know, right now, I'm working really hard at being a good wife. And I don't think people tell you how hard that is. Like, that's hard work. That's not an easy thing
we
to
can
do.
talk after this. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Like that's not an easy thing to do. I'm working at, being a better friend to people, like those types of things. But in my career, I would say I've definitely found success, and I'm extremely happy with where my career path has taken me, and like looking forward to where I'm going to go next. Like I'm dean of students now. Maybe I'll be a principal one day. You never know. Like I'm really excited for it. You know what I'm saying? Be a superintendent of somebody's school district.
Oh, yes. Who's hiring?
Yes. Trying to InQuire hire out here. That's what I'm doing.
That's dope. So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I love that. I love all of. You're hilarious. I can't even keep a straight face for this one. Okay. All right, let's get into the fun questions because I'm sure your answers will be amazing. I can ask all of them?
Okay.
Can I ask all of them?
You want.
Okay. See, she's up for anything. She's amazing. Okay. So what's the number one rite of passage that you think all college students should go through? Now, this could be losing your keys, getting locked out. I don't know, leaving your clothes in the dryer, because I've done that before.
I never did any of those things. Thank you.
Oh, good for you.
No, I'm fine. I was locked in my room all the time, girl. Knocking on your door probably is what I was doing. Like, Ashley.
I'm locked out.
Can I just hang out in here until they can open my door? A rite of passage I think every college kid needs to go through. I think one is oh no, that's not a good one. That's not everybody. Everybody don't have to do that. I think a rite of passage is running out of meal swipes, trying to figure out what you're gonna do.
Ooh, that's the real struggle when you get down to like a few meals left.
Right. They like, okay, you got 4 meals left for the rest of the month. Like, wait a minute, what we gonna do?
Anyone have any extra swipes?
We looking for ramen noodles? Like, what's happening? That's one. Okay. And then I think another one is whether you are Greek or not. Mm-hmm. I think attending like a Greek party or a Greek probate is another rite of passage. Whether you choose to go that route and join any organization or not, I think that's one. And I say that as a person who is not in any Greek organization. I still think that's a rite of passage in your college experience, for sure.
Good times.
Yeah, for sure. Because you're gonna have fun. You're gonna have fun whether you have fun
regardless.
You're in there.
All right. Let us know one embarrassing thing that has happened to you besides getting locked out from
that
your
happened to me
apartment.
In college.
Yeah, or high school. What college would be?
Okay, let's talk about those same parties that we just talked about in college.
Oh,
how about that?
As long as I'm not involved, I was not there. I was not in attendance.
I mean, you were in the room, but you were not involved in the situation. How about that?
Okay, go for it. Oh gosh.
So one time, you're at a party. You try to have a social life in between all your classes, and your studious, serious nature, right? Mm-hmm. Try to have a little bit of a good time on the weekend. Mm-hmm. So I'm at a party. I'm dancing with some dude. I don't know, some dude. And he went to pick me up. I don't know why he thought this was okay, but my man's dropped me right in the middle of the party. Like he went to lift me up, and I guess I must have been like, wait a minute, and he let go. When I tell you I hit the floor, it's like I can't come. All these people just saw that. I can't come to no more parties. We done. That was freshman year of college.
Why did he pick you up? What was he doing?
I'll tell you off camera who it was, because you know the dude.
Gosh, here we go. One of the 12. I'm assuming.
One of the 12 Black people. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have my guesses. Okay. All right. Their last question is: what is one thing that might get your black card, yours specifically, revoked?
Okay, get my black card revoked.
Uh-oh.
And it's my black card, and it's my Chicago card. It's all of that. I do not know. I am so bad at all of those things. I can't footwork. I can't heel toe. None of those.
What were you doing at parties when? I can't even name some of the songs. Hold on.
When some of the songs
have to be appropriate for the.
So all of those dances, when y'all are online, if the young people are listening, y'all on TikTok, and they be like, "Oh, Chicago be like," and they doing all the Chicago dances. I can't do them.
What do you do?
I'm good for a good two-step. Back in the day, I could do a little bit of juking, not a lot.
Okay. Can you step it at all? I mean, can you do something?
But I need somebody who's good to be the leader. The leader.
But you can follow.
Yeah, yeah. So that's gonna be mine. Revoke the whole thing.
You got 2 cards revoked in 2 minutes. I'm sorry.
As soon as the beat drop, they're gonna be like, take her.
No, just take it away. Just take it away. That's hilarious. I had no idea. That's so funny. All right, Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
It was a lot of fun. We'll make sure to put where to find you in the description, LinkedIn and all.
Y'all can look for me. I'll give everybody my social media and my email address. So if they have questions, you can email me personally.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. Until next time, all. Peace.